Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Good Hearted Podcast. Before I dig into today's topic, I just had to talk about Jackass Forever. We watched it last night. We did not finish it, but we started it. And it was so nostalgic. I loved it, laughed my ass off. I remember watching that show on MTV when I was, a teenager or even younger. I don't even know. And, watching all of the other movies. And shortly after I graduated high school, I think, or maybe before I graduated, we went and saw Jackass 3 like in theaters. And so it was like cracking me up the opening of Jackass Forever because I was like, damn, they actually had a budget for this movie. It doesn't look like just some random person filmed it on a handheld camera. Like it was very well done. And so I loved like seeing the old guys still do some things. And then they introduced some younger people who could take the abuse much better than their old bodies could. But anyway, I just like laughed so much watching that last night and I was really happy with it. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, so if you haven't watched it yet, definitely watch it. Get some laughs. Like if you are feeling down, I mean, there's a lot of penis which is to be expected with Jackass, but it was still so good, so funny. But anyway, that aside, today I want to talk about self-love and what it actually looks like, what you can do realistically to love yourself better every day. And really, like for me, finding ways to laugh is a huge part of that. And so, I just wanted to kind of talk about how last night we decided to watch something that was very funny, kind of took us out of our daily regular stresses. And I think that can make such a difference when you're in a funk or you're just like feeling blah, like just finding some way to laugh is huge. So that was kind of like my segue into this. I'm not sure if it really goes together well, but I'm going with it. So before I talk about what self-love really actually looks like and how I tend to practice it and how I'm trying to be better at it, I wanted to first just talk about what exactly self-love is, what it means, if it's a topic that's kind of new for you, or, it's kind of been a while since I've really talked about it on this podcast. So anyway, just a very brief description of what self-love is basically caring about yourself, your own well-being, your own happiness, and not putting yourself first in like a narcissistic way, but in a desirable way, a way that when you are taking care of yourself and loving on yourself, you're then able to love other people better. And really without even bringing other people into it, it's just that you deserve love. You deserve to be taken care of. You deserve to find ways to love yourself and love on yourself. So I don't necessarily think of self-love as like, I think I'm the bomb. Like, I think I'm better than everybody. I love everything about myself. No, it's not like that for me. It's more loving on myself, caring for myself, being tender with myself, and basically just treating myself with the love that I tend to give to other people, super freely without even thinking about it. And then I have nothing left to give for myself. So really just the idea that you deserve love, you deserve to love yourself. And it's something that in general will make you happier in life. So I think it's a good practice to have. I think everybody's self-love journey looks so different from everybody else's. And there's different areas that we are very good at loving ourselves and other areas where we're not. And just finding your sweet spot and finding ways that you can love on yourself better, I think will be huge for you. So I don't know about you, but for me, when I think of self-love, I immediately think of like the body positivity movement and having good body image days and just, loving myself, loving my body, loving everything about my body. But self-love is so much more than that. And I know for me, on the days where I struggle loving my body, then it makes me feel like I'm not loving on myself at all and that I'm having, a very bad day or I'm treating myself poorly because I'm not crazy about how certain clothes look on my body or how I'm feeling a particular day and I'm blaming it on my body or things I have done to my body, things like that. But even if you have not reached that point of loving your body or even being neutral with your body, there's so many other ways that you can still practice self-love in a way that is healthy and constructive. So for this topic today, I don't even want you to think about loving your body or loving your body better or becoming neutral about your body. I feel like those feelings can really complicate all of the other things in our life and on our mind. And maybe that's just me projecting because I feel like that's what I really struggle with. But I just don't even want body image to be part of this conversation because there's so many other podcasts that even I have done on body image. And so I just wanted to devote this episode to lots of other things that involve self-love. So I really like to think of self-love as a type of practice and a lifelong journey, not something that's just going to have a bunch of quick fixes that kind of get me to that finish line of being really good at self-love and at taking care of myself. It's more something that evolves with you over time as your personality changes, as your interests change, as you have experiences that change things about you in your life, where you live, what you do, how you see life, all of these different things. So self-love is not a cut and dry thing. It's not a specific routine that you can do every single day for the rest of your life and feel like you have accomplished self-love. It's more something that's always evolving, always changing, and it's just all about having curiosity and being excited to learn more about yourself and learn more about what makes you tick, what makes you feel good, and keeping those kinds of feelings going, especially when you have those really hard, bad days. When you get to know yourself a little bit better and what you really need and what you truly crave on a regular basis, that is what can allow you to kind of pull yourself up out of those bad days or bad moods if you need to, if you want to. So when I think of self-love being a journey, it automatically gives me permission to slow down and to be patient with myself and to be gentle with all of the new things that I'm learning. To be gentle with myself when I have a negative thought about my body or something that I've said or a thought that has gone through my mind that I'm like, man, I really thought I had tackled that and I'd gotten better at it. So when it comes to loving on yourself, like you just need to be gentle on yourself in those moments. Don't beat yourself up. Don't have some mental discussion about how you're a terrible, horrible person. You can have those thoughts and those feelings and just kind of let them go if you need to, instead of constantly being like, man, a couple weeks ago, I was really good about my body image or whatever the situation is, or, I felt really confident at work, but now I've made this mistake and I feel like shit. Just try not to indulge in all of those negative thoughts. Allow it to come and just let it go. Don't linger on it. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's just a thought. That's all it is. And be okay with letting that thought or that feeling go when it's something that is not nurturing to you and does not promote self-love. Now, you also need to be able to let yourself feel those good thoughts and feelings when you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you feel like you look sexy, or you say something that was really intelligent and really smart and you're so proud of yourself for standing your ground or doing that presentation, like whatever scary thing you were doing, and just allowing yourself to be happy about it, to be proud of yourself, to feel good in your body. Because I know for me, so many times I have discredited things. I have tried really hard to put together an outfit that I love. But then as soon as Dylan tells me that I look cute, or I look good or whatever, I'm just like, oh, it's no big deal. I just threw something on, whatever. No, you can own that shit. I encourage you to do it every single time. Clap for yourself. Be proud of yourself. You don't always necessarily have to do it for an audience, but be proud of yourself on the inside. Treat yourself to something special when you tackle things that are hard, because life is hard. We do hard things one after the other, and we deserve to celebrate every little win, even if it is teeny tiny or it seems like it is. And I think that is one thing that I did that really helped me change my perspective on my self-love journey and to really like appreciate all of the shit that I had worked through and all of the hard inner work I had been doing, because I allowed myself to pat myself on the back and to be proud of myself, to buy myself flowers or reward myself with a dress that I really wanted to buy, or whatever reward I felt fit the accomplishment that I had. So let yourself be happy, brag on yourself when you do something that's badass, and don't be afraid of like being happy for yourself. It is hard sometimes for any like major emotion to be processed. And sometimes it's way easier to be happy or sad for someone else because we are removed from that situation. But if you can be current and present in your life and process those feelings of happiness and joy, that is an incredible way to love on yourself. And it's something that you deserve. So be gentle with yourself, be patient with yourself, but also celebrate anything that you can, anything you have an excuse to, because life is too short to just downplay all of the things that we have accomplished in our lives and all of the things that we're proud of. Self-love also looks like taking time to rest, to actually totally rest. And rest looks different for everyone. So my version of rest might not be the same as yours, but you need to find what works for you, whether it is taking time away from your family and the people that live in your house and having, a couple hours to yourself in a restaurant or a coffee shop, or, even just walking around at a store somewhere, going for a drive, like removing yourself from your daily situation. Or if it's going to bed at a decent time every night, bumping your bedtime up by, 20, 30 minutes until you feel well rested in the morning and like you've gotten good sleep. Or if it's finding a nighttime routine that really helps you unwind and quiet your mind so that you're not fidgety in your sleep, or you're not taking forever to fall asleep, having nightmares like I used to because you were so sleep deprived and stressed out. And so the sleep that you were getting was not, actually helping you, like wasn't actually good, restful sleep. And depending on your lifestyle and what you do, you could also try to take midday naps. I know some workplaces, some like very few, allow their employees to do something like this. But if you work from home or you have your own business and you work at home, you make your own hours and schedule whatever, I have found that having a midday nap is like the best thing in the world. I normally don't do it on purpose. Sometimes I'll be like about to put Harper down for a nap and I will fall asleep while rocking her in the chair after we've read a book or two. And then I'll wake up after like an hour, but I feel so much better the rest of the day. So just giving myself permission to take a nap or literally just like rest for an hour in the middle of the day if that's what I need. I don't give myself shit if I do that because my body is trying to tell me it needs to rest. And so I need to try to help it rest, whether that means going to bed earlier that night, or if I literally have nothing to do in the afternoon while Harper's napping or whatever, like I can take a guilt-free nap and feel amazing for the rest of the day and probably get even more done that evening than I would have gotten done if I did not nap, because I would have been tired, I would have been procrastinating and like moving slow. And so getting that good sleep has made a huge difference for me, and you definitely deserve that good rest and sleep. You can also do like active resting. I many times have sat in our bed and been working on my laptop, editing videos or, creating things in Canva, whatever, while Dylan and I are sitting there watching a TV show. That is also still restful for me, but I'm able to get work done in a way that's like I feel like I want to work, but I want to rest with him, kind of thing. So I do like that mindless work, but it's in a very restful way versus like listening to a self-help audiobook or trying to actively watch like a documentary that I'm interested in. It's something that like literally my mind can just be empty and I can get some things done. So it's like I don't feel bad because I've been productive, but I've done it in a very restful way. And sometimes you need way more rest than just what you can get in a day. So try to plan some kind of vacation that has rest time built into it. Whether you take the whole vacation slow, or if you have break days in between, like busy days when you're going to be sightseeing and doing things, it's just so important to make sure we are resting, because when we do that, at least for me, I don't have all the negative thoughts that I normally do. I'm not as worried about my to-do list. I'm not fretting about all the things I haven't gotten done, because really I'm just thinking, I have all of this shit to do, but all I want to do is sleep. All I want to do is rest. I just want to be lazy. I am so lazy. Versus when I remove myself from the situation, I take some time to rest, whether I'm reading, taking a nap, whatever that looks like. Then I come back with new eyes and a new perspective, and like with my mind not so crazy feeling. And then I'm able to accomplish what I want to do in a shorter amount of time, do it more efficiently, and not feel guilty about it afterwards. So I just feel like when you get good rest, it affects everything else in your mental state. Okay, so those are two things that you can really do to love yourself better: being gentle and patient with yourself, and then also taking time to rest. And then the third little point I have on my list is to make peace with the things that you cannot control. There are so many things in life that are totally out of our control. We can't control the weather. We can't control how other people behave, how they act, how they say things to us, how they treat our friends or family. We can't control what people post on social media or what they don't post. There's so many things that are out of our control. And for so long, I would get angry about those kinds of things that I couldn't control if I wanted to. And I really just had to learn that it was not worth it. It was not worth the mental strain to constantly be fretting and worrying about what everyone else was doing, or even in my family, in my home, certain things that were just out of my control. Like when our air conditioning stopped working and we had to replace it, like that was really fucking annoying. And I hated to spend all of that money, but it is what it is. And then there's also things like, Harper having an off day or a bad day on a day where I was really hoping to be productive or run errands or whatever. And then I feel like my whole day has been derailed. I cannot control what my toddler is feeling and the type of rest that she got the night before, whether or not she has a headache or isn't feeling well. But I can control how I react when my plans have to change. I can control my expectations to just be able to look at my week and say, if Harper and I make it to the end of the week and we're both happy, that's a win for me. Anything else I got done will be a plus, but I can always get things done over the weekend while Dylan's home, and we can both work on chores and catching up on laundry and dishes and all of those things, instead of me being pissed off all week at myself because I haven't been able to do it all. I feel this a lot of times because I only have one child, and lots of people who have multiple kids are like, well, you just gotta pick them up and, go do what you need to do every single day. And that's fine. I get it. But some days I don't want to do that. I don't want to put up with a meltdown in the middle of the grocery. And so just giving myself the permission to lower my expectations with certain things, and to be okay if, I have to abandon a shopping cart, or, I'm trying to go visit with somebody and then we're just having a rough day and it doesn't work out, to just be okay with my life being very unpredictable right now and changing a lot. So that also looks like me not scheduling lots of stuff because I never know what my day is going to look like, in the course of a couple weeks, or making sure that if I do have something planned, it's at a time that I know for sure Harper will be, able to be babysat by somebody, or Dylan can have her, or that it's early enough in the day, far away from her nap time, so that she is in a good mood and it's a good experience for all of us. So even though there's so many things you can't control in your life, I do think you can try to just control how you react to things, and to then also be proactive in not expecting too much out of certain people, out of certain experiences or situations, and just knowing that something can go totally quote unquote wrong, but really just in a way that you didn't want it to go. I know I tend to, a lot of the times, expect lots of things out of people and they have let me down. And so I've also just tried not to put that pressure even on them, even if they don't know that those are my expectations. I don't think it's fair to put such high expectations on those people because if I'm feeling stressed and pressured, I'm sure they are too. And so that's not fair. And I think if everybody lowered their expectations, we would maybe be less stressed as a society and wouldn't be so like anxious and on edge all the time. So just cut yourself some slack, cut the people around you some slack, and just try to roll with those punches as they come. Like I said, just be patient. Be patient with yourself and how you handle the situations. I am still really bad at doing that sometimes, at like setting my expectations in a way that is actually attainable or reacting in a good, healthy way to something. Sometimes I still totally lose my shit and I get really worked up and I get upset and I get mad at myself and I cry about it. And, that's part of it too. Just being gentle with yourself and saying, like, damn, that was hard. That sucked. That really sucked. And being willing to sit in those feelings as you kind of get over it and learn from it and maybe have different expectations the next time you experience something like that. And so since we've talked about self-love being a journey, I do believe it is a lifelong journey. Like I said, I think it's probably always going to change. It's going to evolve, hopefully, if you're intentional about it and if it's something that you continually strive to do to love yourself better. And I find that it's really, really hard to look all the way down the line at my life and pinpoint exactly where I want to be. I don't necessarily have a certain place or accomplishment or like level I want to have achieved by the end of my life. I basically want to look back and just feel happy, genuinely happy, and feel like I did not wish my life away and that I tried to be present. For a long time, I worried about my life being this big, meaningful, purposeful thing. And I wasn't really sure what that looked like. I have a lot of deep rooted things that led me to wanting that kind of life. I mean, I remember sitting in like middle school and thinking, my name's going to be in these textbooks one day. Like, I don't know. I felt like I was meant for these big, crazy things, which is fine. But now I'm realizing even when I chased after those things, like I wasn't really happy. I wasn't celebrating my wins. I photographed a lot of weddings in the Dayton area and I was pretty good at it. I was not the best. I was far from the best, but I really enjoyed what I did. But every milestone I hit, I felt like it was no big deal because I still wasn't up here. You know what I mean? It was like every little step I took closer, I kind of just went right on to my next goal, whether that was, how much money I wanted to make or how many weddings I wanted to book or how many new places I got to go in the next year and how many trips I got to take because of my business. And my furnace just kicked on. So I'm sorry if you can hear that. So I will wrap this up. But it was like when I was chasing that quote unquote fame and success, I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it for the recognition because I wanted to be known. For so long, when I was younger, I was kind of the person that was friends with a lot of different people, but I didn't have like deep relationships with them. So I don't know. I guess I just didn't really feel known by the people in my life. Only a very select few. And that was my own fault, for not letting these people in or just trying to be the life of the party and the fun girl and whatever. I was extroverted and I was very much fueled and recharged by being surrounded by people who enjoyed me and liked to have a good time because that was kind of my thing. And now looking back, I know I was avoiding a lot of things and I just thought if I can prove to these people that I am capable, that I can come from basically nothing and make my life this big, impressive thing, like that's when I will be happy. That's when I will be fulfilled. And I just don't think that's true anymore. And that's kind of why I needed to step away from my business. And now I'm realizing I can be so much happier and be doing it for me versus doing some shit that doesn't even make me happy and doing it for a bunch of other people who are doing their own thing to be happy and aren't even paying attention to me. Does this make any sense at all? I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now because I did not mean to go into all this today, but I just have really learned the difference between what happiness has been kind of preached as a society and what the American dream is and what my dream is, what my dream for happiness is, what that looks like. And honestly, I think that means loving myself and taking care of myself so that I am happier in general and I want to be present in my life and I want to go through the good and the bad times in a healthy way versus constantly overeating or avoiding or doing retail therapy to cope with things. Like I want to be healthier overall and I want to take care of my mind because I know that cancer is going to get me one day and it will be my body that goes probably way before my mind. And so I'm just like, now that I'm almost 30, I feel like I've been saying that for like 2 years now, but I'm just like, man, a lot of my grandparents died pretty young. And when you die like in your 60s, that is not far from where I am right now. And so I don't want to be on my deathbed and feel like I have not lived my life fully in a way that I want to live it, not how anybody else feels a full life should be lived. So I hope you will do the same thing. I hope this kind of gets your wheels turning to just think of what you truly want out of life, not in 30 years, not in 50 years, not in 5 years. What do you want in life to be happy right now? And how can you make little shifts every day to get yourself to that position? And maybe what you need to do is some of these other things that I've mentioned. Being gentle with yourself so that you're not constantly dealing with this like negative storm inside of your head. Instead, it's like a more positive, peaceful place for you to hang out because you've got to be there 24/7. Or whether it's making sure that you have one day a month that like you don't do shit. You can sit in your pajamas all day long, or you can go run errands or enjoy the outside or do whatever it is that you need to do to recharge. Or whether that's like totally distancing yourself from people or events, situations, experiences that are just draining you instead of positively like affecting you and refueling you. And some things we still have to do even when we don't want to do them. So how can you change your expectations, or what can you control to be more prepared for those things and to know that like I am going to feel like shit after I do this. So I'm going to treat myself to X, Y, and Z afterwards or the week after, whatever it needs to be. You deserve to love on yourself the best way you can. Some days it will really be hard. Some days it will not come easy, but I guarantee if you start doing these little things, one day you'll look back and be like, damn, I've been doing really good at loving myself. And it's like a habit now. It's something I don't even have to think about. It's just those boundaries and rules that I've kind of created for myself that work for me in my life. And I'm not having as many, meltdowns as I used to, or struggling so much with all of the negative self-talk. And so I believe in you. I think that you can really make some changes to love yourself better and to enjoy this journey. Please enjoy it. Enjoy your life. Do more things to make yourself happy, to make yourself comfortable, and to just live this life the best you can because you only get one. I don't know anything about the afterlife. I feel like nothing is certain, right? Live this life right now for this moment, for the people that are here with you right now and the world that you live in right now. If you're concerned about the afterlife, that's fine too. But I know for me, like I lived so many of my younger years worrying about whether or not I was getting to heaven. And then if I was getting to heaven, if I was even going to be with my family, if I was going to be with Dylan, if I was going to be with Harper. And I spent so much time worrying about the next life that I was not cherishing this one. So please just do your best to be present right now in this moment. You deserve it. And I know you can do it. I know you can be happy in this life right now. If you just slow down a little bit and be patient with yourself and be a little selfish sometimes by doing the things that you really need and just being fierce with those boundaries of making time for rest and making sure to love on yourself and take care of yourself. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one.